Hello, everyone. We are here to ask today's question, which is how can, help if I can read this right here. I've got all the script here and I'm getting it all wrong. How can cloud gamers attract across traditional gamers? Hello, everyone. We are back again with Cloudburst. I'm Duncan. I'm standing in for Rokk. Rock's away doing something with nature. That's all I heard. And if you're interested in cloud gaming and intelligent conversation, this is the show for you. Each week, we tackle one big cloud gaming question, no holds barred, and no platform is left unturned. Our panel comprises five respected content creators and industry experts, each renowned for deep insight, wide knowledge, and a long list of achievements. Before we begin, let's say hello to our crowd hosting panel today. We've got Ray disappearing there off screen there. Hi,
Hello.
Ray. We have Clive, we have Lloyd, and we've got two guests today in Mark and Evelyn as well. We'll catch up with them later. Uh, Clive, great to see you. How's your week been?
Yes, it's been good. Been enjoying the pro games that released on Stadia this week, and I also had a little dabble in Chorus, which just we were talking about earlier as a flying game. It plays so well, especially for anybody who knows me and the trouble I have with flying games. It's so well done. So I've been enjoying that in general. So, and especially also the last minute winner at Liverpool scored against Wolves.
Yes, Big Divock at his work. Absolutely
Yep.
brilliant. Lloyd, what about yourself?
Yeah, it's been a good week. As Clive said, pro games, playing a bunch of those. Wreckfest has been a heck of a lot of fun. But Chorus has caught my attention. It's a flying game, a space flying game that plays like a first person shooter, which is really, really good. Having a lot of fun with it. Wanting to dig into that one a little bit more after the show.
Cool. I'm leaving our special guest till the end. Ray, what about your good self?
Had a wonderful night of streaming Wreckfest on Stadia. Played Chorus. I am loving Chorus. I think it's probably one of my favorite space combat shooters right now. And been hunting on GeForce. Did the hunting simulator on GeForce, which was cool. I don't like hunting animals in real life, but I will do it in gaming. But it was awesome. So thank you.
Yep, we've got two special guests. Mark, what about you? How did Rokk drag you into here, and why did he drag you into here?
He's a friend of my boss, so I'm about to turn up the minute he clicks his finger. So that's why I'm here, right? Because I get amazing support for my esport, and without Rob Bosworth, we wouldn't have esport. So he says jump, and I'm jumping. But I'm enjoying this already. We've had a nice chat. It's good. And this is one of my students, who's Evelin, and she runs some of the streaming. Well, she's in the production streaming crew for my third year course, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, maybe briefly.
No, tell us a bit about your course now before we kick
off.
Oh, okay.
No, this is good timing. It's kind of a unique offering. Last year, there were 15 schools and colleges, all the way through GCSE to kind of A-level. In British terms, that's level 2, level 3. Up to 18, that's high school for the American audience, at different levels through high school. But we offer something slightly different to everybody else. So 15 started it, but we are the only people offering it as a third year fully funded degree. So in American terms, this would be stay on for high school for 1 extra year, and it's free. No, you don't have to pay for it. And so these guys have already got traditional qualifications, math, science, or of IT, many of IT, computer science, but also things like video production, media studies, journalism. We have a range of skills, and the students we form groups. And as Evelin, she's in the production team. We do everything for esports. So we have 8 teams. We won 2 cups last year in national championships, and we're looking to win many more this year because now we have a fully equipped room. We have a neon sign, so it really is quite special. After 15 years of teaching, I came to teaching at 42, like many people at Exeter College. We have outside experience and we bring it in. And the students, I have to say, are on it like no students I've ever taught before. This is massively engaging. They're doing things like video streaming, video production, event management. Basically every aspect.
So do you cover? So is it so like what's the sort of the end game in terms of somebody's gone through that course? What does it then empower them to be able to do effectively?
Well, we can progress internally. So we'll be starting a degree course coming September, and that'll be 2 years with us and 1 year with Plymouth University. But there are also all the normal openings you have, but they're transferable skills as well. So if somebody's doing it just because they love esport, what company post-COVID doesn't need people that can do online and real life mixed events, can make them look good on camera, can do social media management for their company, and do real teamwork, because the people on the course manage the 8 teams. So we have 42 players and the 32 on the course. Some of them are players, not all of them. Like Evelyn she's not in a team. However, she manages most of our live streams together with Dan.
Okay, we'll just move on. Evelyn, what about yourself?
As was said, I'm on the course. I'm one of the main parts of the production team. So we're equipped with like a full-on broadcasting TV studio. So we do casting. So if you're looking at football, you've got your casters there. But then we've also got our casters. So we're covering things like League of Legends, Overwatch, etc., etc. That was one of my most recent streams we did. We had that fully cast. Me on my own, I'm currently playing through Dark Souls again. Going for a no-hit run, trying to see if I can do that.
Good luck with that.
Okay, moving on. Let's start with the question is, how can cloud gaming attract across traditional gamers? And let's start with you, Lloyd, with your thoughts there. And hopefully I will hit the right button here because I don't usually do this. And there we go.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a very interesting, and that's the $1 trillion question right now in gaming, is how do the companies that are pushing cloud gaming right now attract gamers that usually pick up one of these or one of these? And the big problem is there's a lot of sniping that is going on in the community whenever someone says that they're playing something on Stadia or playing something on GeForce Now or playing something on Luna or whatever. That needs to end. And I think the true success that we're seeing right now is Microsoft with the most recent OS update, where you can basically turn on your Xbox Series S, X, or One, and go to the game store and have a look at the new games on Game Pass, and all of a sudden you see Forza Horizon 5, and you can click play now and play it right on your device. I really think that is the way that console manufacturers are going to convert the traditional console gamers to people that are like, okay, let's try out cloud gaming. That's already happening. I've seen after Forza came out, I saw a lot of people saying, oh my God, I don't even have to download this. I can just play it right now. This is amazing. So I think that is really kind of the thin edge of the wedge that's going to kind of drive a little wedge into the gaming industry and get a lot more people out to try cloud gaming. the other big issue that they're going to run into is what we're seeing with Stadia and Luna, where you need some other device to play these games, whether it's a PC, a streaming stick, something else like that. Xbox, of course, you can use their Edge browser to play Stadia, to play GeForce Now, to play a lot of the different solutions. And I think really that is gonna expand the market. If you could buy an Xbox, and the next thing you know, you're subscribing to Stadia Pro or GeForce Now and using it on your hardware that you already have, that will start people kind of creeping out into cloud gaming a little bit more. But I really think what Microsoft is doing is really going to champion cloud gaming for the industry. So every other player really has to thank Microsoft, although they're probably cursing Microsoft at the same time, because they instantly converted a percentage of their gamers to cloud gamers without saying, hey, you're playing in the cloud. Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting 5 years as Microsoft does what they're doing. Sony not announcing, but leaks through Bloomberg that they're working on a service that's going to compete with Game Pass, which is going to have cloud streaming built in. And I really think that is what's going to convince people. But then on the other hand, we hear from Microsoft that people that are playing on their phones, 1 in 5 are using touch controls. So maybe you don't have to convert current console players to play cloud games. Maybe you just have to, I don't know, convert the kids, because kids are the ones that are playing with touch gaming for the most part. And if they're used to picking up their phone on a data network, playing a game, they don't really care if the icon they press has a little Angry Bird on it or it has the GeForce logo on it. They just want to get in and play their games. So yeah, 5 years out is going to be very interesting. The whole industry is going to change. The cloud gaming industry, not the gaming industry, is going to change. But I really think Microsoft is doing it the right way. Oh, you're muted.
Oh,
There's a shock me being muted. Clive, thanks, Lloyd, for that. Clive, we'll go with you now.
yeah, I agree with Lloyd to a certain degree there. That I think the way that Xbox are doing it as a sort of an addition to the tradition, if I was to use a little rhyming couplet there of some sort, it's sort of, oh look, you can test games out and play them while you're waiting, what you traditionally do while you're waiting to download them. And I think what that effectively does, and we mentioned it before on this show previously, is that it gets people to try it, and then eventually the downloading element becomes less and less as people realize, actually, I could just play these games and streaming them, and they work really well. And as that becomes more commonplace, it's like, in a way, Xbox weaning people off the need to download things. You might download the things that you're absolutely precious about, the games you always play, but it allows you to kind of play lots of other stuff without having to worry about storage. There can be an impulse play. You don't have to kind of, if you're suddenly in the urge to do it, you just press a button and off you go. And so it's about baby steps and slowly moving the traditional gamers, well, the traditional Xbox player towards, edging them towards cloud gaming, with all the assurance that the Xbox brand has in doing that. And then equally, as Lloyd touched there's the bottom up approach. You've got so that's the kind of current generation of gamers. You've got a whole new generation of gamers coming up. And their attitudes are slightly different. They're not so ingrained in that traditional way of, you've got to download the games, you've got to own the games, all this kind of stuff. They're more confident playing stuff on their phone and things like this. And so, it's a kind of, you slowly convert them so that becomes the norm. And then, as we said, once it becomes mainstream, I think that's when you get that kind of mass buy-in where it's available on, like we've mentioned before, as a smart app on your TV, and it's just a decision. Do you watch the latest drama from Netflix, or do you have a quick dip into this game? And it's all about ease of access. But I think both, the advantage that Xbox and PlayStation have is, of course, they're a reliable, recognizable, trustworthy brand, as it were, so they can hold the hand of the mainstream gamer as they slowly take baby steps and transition towards a cloud gaming environment, which is ultimately, I think what Xbox, for instance, would prefer in the future, because it means they don't have to manufacture so many boxes, or but whereas you have Stadia, who are basically saying to traditional gamers, forget everything you know, this is the future and it's right now. And that's a bigger leap for some people. Some people are a bit slow at taking that leap, and they just take more convincing, whereas other people jump onto that. So I think, as Lloyd touched there, I think that kind of the benefits of the brand of Xbox and PlayStation holding the hand of the traditional gamer as they slowly transition into cloud is the way. That is the way.
And we've got a nice wee Star Wars reference there. And speaking of Star Wars, I don't know where I'm going with that. I don't know. Well,
That's more like Star Trek.
I don't know. Yes, we'll go with you, Ray.
All right, put me up. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Man, how can cloud gaming attract traditional gaming? Well, first of all, you put a rig in the cloud and you load it with features and you load it with power. That's going to attract a lot of people. I mean, 3080 GPU, 35 teraflops, latency. It's innovation. It's features. Is what's going to attract, but also the quickness of getting your games. I got for free. I got a NBA 2K22, but I had to download it. It took 2 hours and a half just to download that game. And while it was downloading, I'm over here playing on my computer, playing in the clouds, waiting for it, looking back and seeing it load up. The more the games, the popular games, and people are seeing like Halo. My son, him and his friends after school, they have Halo parties. He's like, "Wow, Dad, this is so awesome that I could just click this button and boom." Because my son, he was a traditional gamer. He loves consoles. He was anti-cloud, and now with him playing with his friends and playing Halo. Just instantly, because now people don't want to wait. They want to just instantly play the game and play it. And so with these new features like Luna with the couch, GFN, GeForce Now with their amazing rig, and Stadia with their features and everything. And plus the sales. I mean, there was tons of sales, just like if you were to buy games on a console. There was also games on sale. Stadia has amazing sales. There's a lot of games that are free. There's tons of games that are free on GFN. Plus, Stadia that you can click. They have their free weekends. I mean, all these are going to attract traditional gamers and get them to play in the clouds. So that's me.
Thank you, Ray. We'll move on to Mark now.
Okay, right now, I have to say, I'm digging GeForce Now. Now, the main reason I'm digging it is I have a really good computer from work, and I can play anything through it. It's a laptop, but it's moving. But my son, he's on my 12-year-old gaming computer. I mean, that is 12 years old. So GeForce Now has the main feature I like about it is free. Right? I know there's a paid service where you can get you 3080 and all this, but actually on the free account, he's connecting. It also limits him to 1 hour. I mean, this is perfect. It keeps him off my gaming rig. It allows him to pay all my Steam that I allow him to play on independently, and he's having a great time. It automatically limits his gaming. That's not the only thing he plays, but he kind of gets his hour when he comes in from school, and then he's got to do his homework. It kind of winds down on that. So the GeForce Now experience is really, really good. I mean, I got in here really early, back in, I think 2011, because I'm kind of an early adopter of everything, and I tried on live. I realize now it's moved on a long way, but they kind of packed up and went away back in 2011 because it wasn't working really well. Things have moved on. When it comes to esports, which I'm primarily involved in, why would you want a longer line? Now, I realize the latencies are getting very good and all this is improving. But as far as esports, and I know that is not the main case we're talking about here, it's playing on your phone, all that sort of stuff. However, every little incremental benefit is what counts, and that gives you some incremental disadvantages. They are small, and it will get less. But for what we do as esports with competitive teams playing across the country, we're not there yet. There's a lot of technologies that do this. I mean, cloud gaming got a lot of hype back in 2011, and it wasn't coming up with the goods. Now the hype it's getting, maybe it's coming through. I mean, you can fusion, fusion reactors. Every 10 years they hit it again, and we're getting there. But this time I think we might be turning the corner, and as the other guests have been saying, and I think this is the key, it's not necessarily going straight for those competitive games. It's going to the thin clients, the TV, the tablet, your phone, and games that you would maybe use your thumbs on, touch games rather than traditional move from PC. So that's where I see it for fun for my guys, and that's how they use it mostly. But you'll hear from Evelyn as to how she uses it. And apart from GeForce Now, and my previous experience, which wasn't so good, but hey, a decade or more ago, that's where I'm seeing it now, is a fun, get into it, casual gamer type experience.
I'm very tempted to kick you off here. You are not allowed to slag off on live.
No, it could be great now.
No, it's dead. But no, Evelyn, now your turn.
As someone who was originally what we're defining as a traditional gamer, I started off mainly playing on PC, but after a while, it just began getting extremely expensive for me. So I ended up moving, and no longer having to deal with my own rig, no longer having to constantly upgrade is something that that's why I'm currently using the cloud, and I love the cloud for what it is, just because I'm not spending extraordinary amounts of money sometimes buying new hardware. If something breaks or anything breaks, something doesn't run right, let's say my file is corrupt, it's not on me to deal with that. It is on the cloud service, be it GeForce, be it Shadow, be it Stadia, be it whatever. They are dealing with most of the issues, and they will kind of deal with any issue you do run into. As I do have my own kind of okay rig that I can play games on, but the only reason I do that is because I do play a few competitive games. Things like CSGO, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege. And at that point, with how latency currently is, the input delay is that you can feel it, and you do lose a bit of advantage there. But for your more casual games, the cloud is definitely the way to go. And it also means that you're not spending extreme amounts of money on things. For companies, it's also financially the most viable thing to do, as every console is a loss leader. So for them, it's not efficient to sell these consoles. But if all they have to do is get everything in the cloud, it's more efficient for them, and it also brings more people into the gaming industry as a whole. It opens up more jobs. It does everything like that, and it allows people who you wouldn't normally expect to play certain games to play these games on their phone, or they can just pick up a controller and just log in on the browser and play. It means they don't have to have all the expensive hardware they don't need. So instead of going out and buying, let's say currently a 1080 Ti because it's lower end and it's slightly cheaper than currently a 3080 series, you don't need to go and do that. You can play the new games you want, or whatever games you want, on your browser at a cheaper price point.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody want to respond there to start off?
Yeah, I think Evelyn, she's hit it there about the democratization of gaming. that's what cloud gaming can offer. Gaming generally, we know, has become more and more mass consumer, and the easiest way to make something mass consumer is to make it accessible. And previously it was a 300 or 400 pound decision if you were going the console route, and if you want to seriously game, you need sort of spend 1,000 plus, if not more. Whereas now, you have these options that are, albeit a monthly rate, some are free as well, which is, as Evelyn says, you don't have to worry about, need to upgrade my PC or anything like that, because it's all done for you. And the same with the consoles, as we know now, as well. It's, Stadia is described as a console for life. It will constantly be upgraded in the background, and you've seen that with, GeForce Now as well. They've made their upgrades. Xbox for xCloud have made their upgrades from their initial offering and stuff like that. So I think the democratization of gaming is key, but there'll always be, whether it's for competitive reasons, it's like people who go cycling. You can spend a few £100 on a bicycle, or if you're what they call a mammal, middle-aged man in lycra, you'll be spending £5,000 on a bike. Like people say to me, my kids say to me, "Oh, you spent a bit of money on that tech here or there," and I say, "Yeah, but a man of my age, I should have a £5,000 carbon fiber bike. Apparently, I've got friends of the same age who spend thousands on a carbon fiber bike, so they can just pretend that they're Bradley Wiggins in the Tour de France, whatever, every Sunday." There'll always be those people who want that. The same with audiophiles. People will spend £5,000 on an amp and 10 grand on speakers, and then invite into their house, and you'll go, hey, check this out, listen to this, it's amazing. And you know what? It is amazing, but 90% of people are quite happy listening to music via Spotify. Because it's good enough. The quality is good enough. It's not bad, it's good enough. And that's the thing about cloud gaming. It just has to be good enough as to not take you out of your experience. So that's the kind of the way I look at it. There's degrees between those. There's degrees between the audiophile and the average person. The guy sitting on the bus annoying everybody listening to music through their phone speaker, and then there's every position in between. And I think that's the same with gaming, and cloud gaming offers you, I think, somewhere in that middle that allows people to access gaming, but if you really want to get the best quality, then of course you're going to have to spend significant amounts of money to get that kind of absolutely native, pure experience. But that gap will inevitably shrink over time.
One thing I did really neglect to mention is the fact that with cloud gaming as a whole, it also allows the gaming industry as a whole to kind of improve quality of games and whatnot, because people, there are some gamers who are playing on the lowest of settings all the time, and they're not getting the truest experience. So a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, if you're playing that on PC at lowest settings, you are not getting to see the beauty that game can provide and how beautiful that game looks. But if you're playing on the cloud, you have access to maybe put your settings at ultra, and you're still going to run fine, and you're going to get to see how the developers want you to see their games. You're going to get to see the beauty that some games can provide. But with that, it also means that developers can go ahead and make their games more designed like that, so they can create slightly more hardware intensive games. But the cloud can hopefully and should be able to mean that they can do that, because the hardware is usually, if you look at GeForce Now, it's a Tesla card. The amount of VRAM on that's insane, meaning you can just do that, and these developers can produce games that are a lot higher quality that people can experience.
Yeah, definitely. I do think one of the biggest issues with cloud gaming right now is it's kind of a magic box. You turn on your screen, you connect a controller, but all the stuff that's happening in the middle is kind of unseen. So you have people that say cloud gaming is trash. I use Stadia and I'm getting 4 frames a second and incredible lag. And then you have other people that say, well, Stadia works fine for me. I live right next door to you. This doesn't make sense. And I ran into an issue recently where I have an iPhone. I'm an iOS user, and I have a Backbone controller, which just slams into the sides and you can play games on it. It's fantastic. I love my controller. But for the last few months, I couldn't play Stadia on it. I would get into the game and then I'd get the network warning, and then eventually the game would just stop. Couldn't figure it out. I have a Google Wi-Fi mesh network. I have multiple base stations. I ripped all that out. I reran cables. I moved them away from anything that could be having any sort of interference, set them up, and I was still having problems. And I'm like, I don't understand what's happening. So I tried on my iPad and it worked fine. So the issue was my phone. So there must be something. It's an old phone. It's 4 years old. I've dropped it more than anyone should drop their $1,000 technology that you keep in your pocket. But the weak link was my phone. So I think what needs to happen for cloud gaming to reach more mainstream is to have better technology built into the stream. So it says, oh, there's an issue between you and the border router. There's an issue between the border router and our servers. There's an issue between this and that. Because when you buy a modern console and you plug it into your TV, if you turn on your console and the TV doesn't have a screen, there's really one culprit. Well, I guess two. The main culprit is your HDMI cable. The next one is your console's dead. There's 1,000,001 different things that can go wrong with cloud gaming right now. So hopefully GeForce Now is doing a really good job. Like when you start a stream on the Shield, it has that little thing that pops up that you see the little thing going back and forth, which really doesn't mean anything in what it's actually doing, but it gives people that are maybe concerned that they have a network issue a little bit of peace of mind. That needs to be built into all the different services. So instead of just saying we're detecting network troubles, it's like, hey, there seems to be a problem between your device and your router. I don't know how they're going to do that because I do networking as part of my day job, and that is really hard. But maybe there's some easy things that they can do to kind of determine where this lag is happening. And I do truly think that is the biggest thing that's holding it back. Like, look at all the arguing that's been happening on Twitter over the last couple of days with a writer that talks about Xbox a lot, talking about Stadia, and everyone's arguing with him and picking a fight. When the reality is, his play of Stadia with mouse and keyboard for Destiny may be bad for him. It doesn't mean that it's bad for everybody, but we need to get some more tools to kind of determine what is happening, because it's annoying when you find out that people are slagging something that is working perfectly for you. And if it's just a simple matter of them replacing their router from their cable company, or getting a new device, or not putting their wireless router right beside where their electrical comes into their house with a lot of RF bleeding into that, there's so many different things that could be happening. But I really do think that determining why the network isn't performing well, not just saying, hey, we're having network problems, is going to go a long way to making cloud gaming better for people.
Hi, Ray. Yep. You work away there.
Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you, Lloyd. And that was awesome. It's awesome panel. Thanks, and thank the guests for being on here. You know what I would like to see, man, is taking it back to the old school kiosks. Having somebody like in a mall that represents GeForce Now and telling kids or telling people, showing them what to do, giving them advice, showing the different type of tech that you can use with the cloud. I remember, I think Google had something. They had some kiosks. I know GeForce Now had some kiosks or something like that. I know when I used to go into GameStop, I would always go to the VR, and I was learning how to, you get to try out the VRs and stuff like that. So I would think something to help out future cloud gamers is like somebody that is trained and knows how to sell it. Because once you put the product in the hand of a consumer, or you talk about it, that'll probably also influence them to get it.
Mark, I haven't heard from you in a wee while there. Have you anything to add here? I'm just making sure you're still awake as well.
Yeah, no, I'm wide awake. I'm really interested in the panel. You got some really good guys here, and I'm really interested in their input. Really, I'm coming from a competitive game perspective, And I'm waiting for that, but can it ever happen? I'd like to know the opinion of the panel here. Can we ever get to the point whereby we can have, I mean, just the physics of the distance could be an issue, but is it possible? Could we have real top level competitive gaming?
I think so, because it's relative. It's like there's different degrees of car racing, isn't there? And when in the FIFA, as I understand it, and you probably might know better, but in the FIFA esports competitions, there's a category specifically for Xbox, and there's a category specifically for PlayStation. So is the question, could you see a scenario where somebody's on a $5,000 gaming computer and somebody's playing on a shadow PC in the cloud? Probably not necessarily. But could you see a competition that is purely Rainbow Six Siege plays really, really well on Stadia. So could you have a Stadia competition of Rainbow Six Siege of a really good level? Yes, because those people playing it are tuned in to the response, so that they're not coming necessarily directly from a native experience to the Stadia, immediately and going, oh, I noticed a slight difference. So could you have competitive, and and this would probably this is where cloud would have a benefit, because you can have real global competition, because effectively the ping, the machines are all in the same place. They're in the cloud. The only kind of issue is touched on here is your own home setup in terms of the network and stuff. But if you're getting a good response with the network, then it would be very competitive, because all the servers, the games are all running next to each other. But it would have to be, I think that's how you do it. You'd say this is the Stadia Rainbow Six Siege Championship, or Nvidia sponsoring the GeForce Now one, and everyone's on 3080s. So if you put them in those categories, I think yes. But I think Mark's right in terms of, if it was a free for all, then I think that the native PC player on a really expensive rig is probably, subject to their own network, is probably going to have that advantage.
As somebody who plays games like Rainbow Six and everything else, I run it on my Shadow and it runs great. Barely any input delay. At most, it feels completely and utterly, it feels natural. It feels like I'm on the actual machine. Input delay is at most a millisecond. At least for me, it is my use case. It is around a millisecond at most. Now, having this, each piece of hardware will always be different. That's just down how hardware creation works. But if people are using the cloud for games like that, it has a multitude of benefits. Ping, the way people are playing, but then it also helps deal with cheating. As most, if you're looking at something like Shadow, the machines are completely virtualized, meaning fresh installs with, let's say, only the one game they're playing, and that can be easily done. It can be done like 10 minutes to an hour before, and it means that nobody is going to be cheating, as you can stomp that out immediately. With people using their own machines, it is really, really hard to work out if they are cheating or not. Valorant has done this pretty damn well by using a kernel-based kernel deep anti-cheat, but lots of people don't want to deal with that because they believe they're going to steal something. They have complete access to my entire computer. But with the cloud, we can kind of deny cheaters the ability to do anything, because if you want to play a game like Valorant, you can't, because there's kernel deep anti-cheat. That's something that needs to be dealt with. So. But if everybody was using the cloud, or a large majority, that would most likely be dealt with. But being able to deny cheaters the ability to cheat means that we will see fairer matchups, fairer games. Competitive games are going to be great like that. And also, with esports, people can... buying a game like Siege sometimes can be upwards of $30 to $40. But with something like the cloud, you can just pick it up and play it. Sometimes you don't even have to pay for it. And if you don't enjoy it, you haven't wasted any money on it. And that gets more people into the actual competitive side of it. And we may see rising stars that way.
Yeah. Well, it's running this weekend free. No subscription required on Stadia. Rainbow Six Siege all weekend. Yeah.
Well, I was on a Killer Queen Black team, and we were playing other Stadia players, and we were playing Nintendo Switch players, and they broadcast it on Twitch, and they had it on YouTube, and it worked great. We had a blast, and so that was just a little taste of, I mean, it's like what the future holds for like really fast-paced first-person shooter games. But it was fun being in the B League for Killer Queen Black.
We know cheating is a problem, so I think Evelyn's right, isn't it? I mean, that could be a major selling point for a lot, for if you ran competitions, as long as it runs close enough to your native experience, everybody's in the same boat, but you're eradicating, as you say, that the cheating. And we know, one of the biggest complaints on, as I understand it, on the Rainbow Six Siege sort of Reddits and stuff is it's for PC players, it's full of damn cheaters. There's too many cheaters. I hate this game, because many of us were saying anecdotally, well, come and play it on Stadia. There's no, cheaters there, except we do have crossplay. But yeah, I think that is a selling point of Cloud, definitely.
And I think when cloud gaming gets a little bit bigger, everyone's going to be kind of on the same platform as far as ping and latency to the server would be. I have Fortnite on the brain right now because their season's ending in a couple hours, and I remember back to like when you had like the World Championships. You find out that some of these big trio teams and duo teams, they're actually moving to like Virginia or Ohio or other locations where the actual Fortnite servers are, so they can have zero ping. Well, they could do that with cloud gaming as well. Like if everything is virtualized and you know that the main servers are also in Virginia, that would benefit them as well. But I think the real big future for cloud gaming would be for I don't know, Epic to say, hey, Stadia, we're going to bring Fortnite to Stadia. That'll probably never happen, but let's pretend here. We're in a world of pretend, and they're going to say, okay, we're running this huge tournament in Vegas. Can you set up a Stadia node in the place where we're going to be, so that we can have very low latency? And Google could say, yeah, for sure. We're going to move a bunch of server equipment. We're going to get fiber optics. We're going to do everything. And then everybody at that tournament is still playing cloud gaming. Their rig is connected to the cloud, but the cloud is local. And you'll be giving these people similar latency to, say, hardware that is running locally, games running locally on that hardware connecting to a server that is nearby. If you can move that edge node right into the place where this tournament is going to be, that could be huge. And I don't really see that as super possible with other ways of doing this, because then that would mean Epic would have to move their servers, because they manage most of their server architecture right now. But if they're partnering with another company that already has a lot of telco and a lot of fiber and a lot of everything laid in all the major cities, like Google or Microsoft or Amazon or whatever, they could bring this equipment to the server, and then everybody's playing on their tablet or phone or probably a computer, but they could play on various devices connecting to local servers, and then everybody benefits from having zero ping instead of some people in the match have zero ping and they can take every wall that they want. Other people have 40 ping and they have to play a different kind of game. It would really level the playing field that way. And
Yeah, I love
I'd
that
to see
answer. Yeah, I love that answer, because that deals with the physics, and
Yeah.
the physics was the issue.
We're getting very ready Player One, like they're moving closer to the servers. They get a lot. So,
Just gotta build some stacks right outside, and there you go.
Exactly. Mark, have you anything more you want to add there? Again, I'm just trying to get everybody's opinions.
No,
I
was looking for an answer as to how you could do esports, and I think we've pretty much had one there. So that's what I was looking for. I mean, the solution for my 12-year-old, I've got that one. Free GeForce now, yeah. But for esports, I think we've got a solution. The idea of putting the node right in the place where you're going to play these competitions, having basically the same ping for everybody. You could even do that across different locations to a certain extent. The anti-cheating potential, maybe not impossible, but certainly much more controllable. I like that. So yeah, I'm looking for answers from you guys here. So, and you're coming up with them, which is great.
Just get back to the main topic, which was across traditional gamers. We've covered the competitive gamers. What about the dear old traditional gamers? Does anybody else want to add anything into that?
Yeah,
Well, I guess
allow.
so. You're going to say about you need to sort of define in a way what we mean by traditional gamers, because it's such a wide thing, isn't it? I mean, there are console
You're
gamers,
right, Clive.
there are PC gamers who I always sort of jokingly call the nerds, and then there's the console gamers who are the cool guys,
We'll narrow it down. We'll go traditional. I think what Rokk was meaning in the traditional sense is the console gamers.
Yeah. Then I think then we've sort of touched on it to a certain degree. I think it will be PlayStation and Xbox hand holding players towards, in baby steps towards the cloud, because as has already been commented on here, selling boxes is a loss leader and not perhaps the most, the best economic model when, you don't have to you can manage all the servers and just sort of have the games sort of streamed but all on the back of your massive gaming brand that you built up over the last 20-30 years. So I think that's it will be the reputation of PlayStation and Xbox saying to gamers, traditional gamers, you could trust us, come with us on this little, slowly on this journey, taking baby steps.
Anybody else want to jump in, or everybody's on bated breath there?
I think for your console players, it is just an introduction into the PC gaming sphere. There are quite a few games that have been designed for PC that have been ported to console, and they have been absolutely atrocious. And with cloud gaming, we can see these console players go and play games that have been designed for PC, and they can actually experience these games in a way that's going to be good, that isn't going to be a really bad console port. It's also cheaper.
I play some games and you think, because I'm I come from a console background. I always play everything with a controller. I can't do keyboard and mouse. I'm too old to learn old skills again. My son just converted to keyboard and mouse like that, and now he's an absolute demon in Apex or something like that on keyboard and mouse. But I can't be doing with that. But they're often, you're right, they're often games that you play, and I often think with the controller, I think this was designed with keyboard and mouse in mind, because it doesn't lend itself very well to a kind of a console type experience. So I just wonder whether in the future, if more and more games are, with a controller in mind rather than what you might deem the traditional gamer's keyboard and mouse.
We do see it the other way around as well, though. So with cloud gaming, we'd also kind of deal with that the other way around. There's some games that have been designed for controller, really, but you may want to play it in a higher quality, so you're going to play it on PC. A great example is Dark Souls. If you're playing Dark Souls on a keyboard and mouse, it can be a pain. But if you're playing it on controller, something like parrying is extremely easier, because it's a single button press, if I remember correctly, and it is just easier. And that's kind of what that game has been designed for, but it does look better on PC. So with cloud gaming, it means that you can get the quality of PC, but you can get the accessibility and you can get what the game was designed for on a controller, because you can just connect your controller to any cloud gaming service and go.
Okay, that seems like a nice wee place to stop. So I just want to thank everybody for joining us, and we're just going to go around the table just to see where everybody can find you guys. Girls, Ray, where can people find you?
Ray3473, the gaming sideboard. You can find me on Twitter. Tonight I'll be streaming on Twitch. The Bounty Boys, the Cowboys, we're going to be doing some Red Dead Online.
Cool. Evelin?
You can find me on Twitch at Mist_Mayhem. You can also, you just find me on Twitch at Mist_Mayhem.
What all do you stream there?
What do I stream there? It's mainly anything I feel like I'm just going to play. Quite a bit of Siege.
Love Siege.
The odd bit of Dark Souls, just whatever I feel like. But if people want me to play anything or try anything, I'm always down to.
Good job. Lloyd.
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do that at Dasme, DASME. You can also check out nerdnest.tv for all the videos that we put up. StadiaCast, of course, we record every Sunday talking about Stadia. On Deck, our Steam Deck podcast records every second week, posted usually on a Monday. So you can check all that stuff out at nerdnest.tv. And if audio podcasts are your thing, you can check out rez.tv, rezd.tv for all those fun audio shows.
Clive.
Yeah, I'll be back as ever. Stadia Monday Night Chat, 10 p.m. UK time on Mondays, every Mondays. I'll be there, and you can find me on Twitter at Clive Illenden, but you all know that.
Do we really? Mark, what about you?
Well, it's why I brought Evelin with me. I'm all about the students, so I say find my students at Exeter Academy on Twitch, and we stream. We've just made affiliate. We've only just started this course, by the way. We made affiliate. Evelin, tell us how many followers we have at the moment. We have only just started.
101 within the first couple of weeks, streaming every Wednesday. Currently, plan on increasing that. It's all properly done. We have shoutcasts and all. X Academy is the Twitch link. You can also find us on Instagram at X Academy. You can need to put underscores between everything due to X Academy being taken for some reason. And then you can also find us on Twitter at X Academy.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to plug myself here really quickly. Go to the cloudy.games/CGA 2021 so you can cast your vote at the Cloud Gaming Awards. It ends on Monday. Good news, I can behave. As you can see, I didn't interrupt anybody or anything. I was actually pretty good here today. And this is my last week for this season. So Rokk will be back next week. So just thank you all for joining, and we will see you again, same time, same place.
Thank you, guests. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Awesome stuff.